What's going on? This is Awais back with another video of Java Essential Training Series. So in this video, I'm going to give you an introduction of method. So what is a method basically? So there is a class, public class main, and we have a method down here, public static void main. That's a method in Java. In other languages, it can be called functions, but here usually called a method. So we can define our own methods as well, what I'll show you in a second, but let me explain to you what is a method. So public, that's a keyword. That means that this method is available to entire application, right? Static is a keyword, and a void means that this method does not return any value. Main is a method name, and these are the parameters of the method. So every Java program has a main class with a capital M and a main method. That is compulsory. Without the main method, you cannot run a program. You cannot even design a program. Let me give you an example how to create your own method, right? So I've just mentioned that the name main can only be named once in any program. So let's create our own method now. So I'm just going to press enter here. Alright, so I'm going to create my own method. I'm going to name it public, which is going to be available to entire application, and then the word static, right? And then void, which means that this method doesn't return any value. And then comes the method name. So I would say that my method, okay? And then we need to add parentheses. All right, so basically the parameters goes in those parentheses. For this example, I'm just gonna leave them empty. All right, and then I'm going to press enter, or you can start your code block right there. Okay, so in that method, let's say I will write as out, okay, and I'll say this is my first method. Okay, all right, so we got that now. So we can retrieve that system.out in our main method. So basically compiler reads the main method first, right? So we can access the other method which we just made called my method, and it has the statement of system.out.println and string value, which is this is my first method in a double quotes, so I can print it out as many times I want. So let's go back to our main method now, and here I'm going to type my method. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just type the name of the method, right, with the parentheses and semicolon at the end, right? Let's debug this program now, and let's look at the output. Alright, so as you can see that we got the result. This is my first method. Let's run that one more time. So this is my first method. So let's say I can just copy and let's say paste, right? So instead of writing out this statement now, all I have to do is just write the method name, which is going to execute this statement. It's going to retrieve the system.out.println from the my method, and then it's going to print out, as you can see that. So you can create a different kinds of methods, such as you can add two values and you won't use that those values and many times in the program. So instead of writing that code again and again, you can create a method and just retrieve that method, which is really which is gonna help your program to be a bit smaller. Alright, so let me give you a quick example of creating a method. So let's create another method here. I'm going to public static and void, right, and then let's say hello, okay, and then I'm going to pass a value inside. I'm going to say string, okay, and then I'm going to, the next parameter is going to be name. Okay, so I'm going to type name, done, and then add a code block there, and then let's say system.out, okay, and then now I'm going to type hello, and I'm going to add a concatenation here and type the parameter what we just defined in the hello method. Okay, so we got that method now, right? Let's go back to our main method. Here if I use hello method, okay, and now I can pass in a value here, the string we defined here, the argument here, name, so I can use that here. Okay, so here I will type the value for that. So in the double quotes I will say Awais, right? And then that's it. I'll use the same method, okay, and here I will say, let's say Alex, okay, right? Use that method again and say, let's say John or David, okay, and let's print it out. So the result is going to be hello Awais, hello Alex, hello David. So now I'm only printing out hello, the method. Basically it's going to call this method, and then the statement we have in there is the word hello, okay, and then the name, right? So the name is going to be the value of that string. Alright, so that was a quick example for string values. Let's look at the addition here, okay, and then we'll jump into the bit more advanced method here. So I'll show you the predefined method as well. Okay, so now I'm going to add another method. All right, so I'm going to type public static, okay, and void, okay, and now I'm going to type add, let's say addition. All right, so in the parameters or arguments, now instead of giving a string values, I'm going to type integer x comma integer y, okay, then comma integer z, okay, and then add a code block, right? So instead of giving a string values, the one we used before, now I'm making an addition method with 3 integer variables. Okay, so with those parameters or arguments, now I'm going to use system.out, and I'm going to say addition of these 3 numbers, okay, and I'm going to say plus, okay. Now let's say add another parenthesis and say x plus y plus z, right? All right, so now we have that. Now I'm going to use that method in the main method now. So how do we do that now? All right, so let's go to the main method now. I'm going to start with the method name, what I'm going to use, right? So addition, okay, so if I just type, let's say a, okay, here that's a method. So you see that IntelliJ IDEA can tell you that's a method, right? So method has x value, y, and z, these 3 integers. So you can type with the comma 3 values, and then the main method with the addition method will read from that method now, okay? So let's add that method now. All right, here I'm going to add, let's say 10 comma 5 comma 10. All right, so we have given 3 values. All right, so I have 3 variables here, there are 3 values here, right? And that's our operation here. Let's run the code and see what we get. So addition of these 3 numbers, 25. You could use the scanner class with that. I'll show you in a second. All right, so let's talk about this void keyword. That means that this method would not return any value, okay? So let's say if I change this void to int, okay, and now if I come down here, I will see this red bulb, okay? So make addition return value, because that method is not void now, it has to return a value which has to be integer now, because I've used integer. I could use double, I could use float, I could use long, right? So whatever the data type is there for that method, that method has to return that value. All right, so let's say integer, right? Okay, so now instead of writing this statement now, what I can do here, I'm just going to change that to a comment. All right, and now I'm going to add a return value here. So let's go to the end, enter, so return. Okay, and now I'm going to type x plus y plus z with the semicolon, right? So now basically these three are integer values here. All right, that's why we are returning this expression. So x plus y plus z, right? Let's look at how we use these values now. All right, so here in the main method, now I'm going to declare another integer variable, and I'm going to say sum, okay, is equal to, and now I can use this method, right? So that's the name of the method, right? So I'll type addition, right? And then I will type three values, because this method can take three integer values, so x, y, z, right? So I said 10 comma 5 comma 10. As you can see down there, it will tell you that right now you are entering, because as you can see that the z integer variable is a bit darker than these two, so you can see that this is the value we are declaring right now. All right, so there, semicolon at the end, right? So you have added this method to these values now, okay, with the help of this addition keyword, right? So how do we print out the result? Come down here, type sout, right, and then type sum. Okay, so we're gonna use this variable now, because that variable is basically equal to this, so we can use that variable now. So let's run the program. The result should be 25. So all right, so now I'm gonna give you a bit more complicated program, and we'll make our own method now. So let's get rid of this thing here. All right, so to make that program, right, I need to import a scanner class, right? So if you don't know about these classes, watch my video on predefined functions or predefined method. I think it's the previous video or 2 videos before this video I'm gonna upload, so watch that, right? All right, so let's import java.util.scanner, right? So what it does, basically it lets you put values from the console. All right, so now let's go to the main method, right? So in the main method I will declare a few variables, all right, but before declaring the variables, we're going to make a new method here. So let's go and make public static, and I'm going to use a double keyword now, because it's going to return a double value, right? So I'm going to type a average, okay, and then I'm going to, in the parameters, I'm going to declare three double variables. So double, right, and say num1, okay. Double is a data type, num2, right? So another one, double and space num3, okay. So these are the three variables we have in this average method, which is going to return a double value. Let's add a code block now. All right, so we got the code block there. So now I'm going to say that double, okay, avg, that's going to be another variable, is equal to, okay, I'm going to add these three values, and I'm going to divide them by 3 to get the average of that. All right, so now let's num. So because I'm dividing, so I need to declare it in that parenthesis. So add the parenthesis now. So num1 plus num2 plus num3, okay, num3. Well, made a mistake here, so I need to change this to num3, and here I can do num3. Okay, and then outside the parenthesis / for division, type 3 and semicolon. All right, press enter, and now there is a red line under this course, right? So it's saying a missing return statement. Okay, so type return, and what it's going to return, right? You give me give a guess, right? This is going to return a double value. So this is the avg variable we declared. That's what it's going to return. Because it's a double, it's not gonna give us error. So avg semicolon. Let me give you an example. If I change this to int, okay, and now the whole code is not right, so it's telling me that required int found double, right? So we have to change that to double, right? Okay, so that's the mistake, double. Okay, all right, so we got this method there. Now we're gonna use that method in our main method. All right, so let's declare 3 variables now, double variables, right? So x comma y comma z, right, with the semicolon at the end. Okay, and declare another variable, double, oops, one, keep writing, do double avg. Okay, well, let me explain to you. That double avg value is different than, so this variable only exist in these parentheses, right? So this is another method which is going to stay in this method, right? That avg is going to stay in this method. Okay, so every variable belongs to its own method. Press enter here, and now we need to create a scanner class, right? To put the values to these double variables, I need to create a scanner class because I don't want to declare the variables here. I want to put them on the console. So let's declare a scanner class, scanner, right? And then say in, okay, let's name it input, is equal to new scanner, okay, and then say system dot in. Okay, so that's our scanner is being created now, right? So now I'm gonna say that s out, and I'm going to type enter 3 numbers, okay, and then I'm going to press enter again. And now let's after that message will pop up to the console, I need to prompt the user for input, right? So let's say x is equal to, I'm going to use scanner class, which is input, right? That's what we created before, right? If you don't know about scanner class, watch my video on getting input from user. That in that video I'll explain everything about it. All right, so next input, so next dot double, right? Because we're getting a double variable, all right? That's a double data type there. And then semicolon. Same with the y is equal to input, not next dot double. Z is equal to input dot next dot double. Okay, right, so we got 3 variables we are getting from user, and down here I can use the avg variable now, average variable, right? So is equal to, now I need to use that method down here. Okay, so I want to use this method, apply to these values what I get from user on the console. So let's type the average method name, and now we need to declare 3 variables. So instead of giving a numeric values, I can use these variables, the values I will get from console. So let's give x comma y comma z, right? And then a semicolon. All right, so then we're going to say system.out.println. I'm going to say the average is, okay, actually put equal to sign to make it more look professional concatenation operator, which is a plus operator, and then a variable which is avg, right? So we're going to print out this variable. All right, so that was a bit of complicated program to creating a method and using them. So let's run the program now. All right, so it's telling me to enter 3 numbers. So with 3, enter 3, and 3, enter. So the average is 3.0. Okay, let's run the program again, and let's say 9, enter 9, enter 9. So the average should be 9, right? All right, so that was about a method. I hope you understood what I want to say, and if you have any question, leave that in the comments below, and you can follow me on Twitter at Awais Mirza01. I can reply to you straight away from Twitter. So if you want to contact me, make sure you contact me on Twitter. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.